Hey guys, it's Isis here. First of all, I want to thank everybody who subscribed. Thank you. Keep subscribing, and I'm gonna hope to keep making great videos for you guys. So, also, when you subscribe, put your comments down below and tell me what you want to see. So that way, I know to keep giving me great inspiration to make more great videos for you. Anyway, one of my subscribers, which I'm so happy about, had requested a video on roots. So me being the hoodoo witch, I said that I'll give her grant her that wish and I will make this video. So there's only one issue though. There are lots and lots of roots. If you're into the craft and you're practicing hoodoo, santeria, or paloma yombe, or any one of those other ones, some of them you will know. There's a lot of roots and curios that we use. I'm not saying that the same thing that people who do hoodoo is the same thing that people who do santeria, and the same thing that people who do voodoo or Pablo Mayone, but some of them are very similar, and we use the same curios and the same roots. So sometimes they interchange, sometimes they mix, sometimes they're totally not. So, but for either one, there are lots of roots, lots of varieties, lots of different curios. So I think this is going to have to be a series. So what I'm going to try to cover today, I'm going to bring you 5. These aren't my type 5. These aren't in any kind of order. I'm just going to bring you 5 today, and I'll come back probably next week and I'll bring you some more. So, and hopefully we'll get to cover almost all of them. I'm going to try to cover all of the herbs and roots. Well, mostly I'm going to start with roots. I'm going to try to cover all the roots that I usually work with. I think I work with pretty much all of them. But if there's some that I don't know, again, leave that down in the comments. You know, maybe it's something I haven't even seen yet, and I'm always willing to learn and learn new things. And we can learn from each other in this community. That's the beauty of this witchy community. So let's get right on into it. Okay, I'm going to start with the Johns. Let's start with the Johns. So to start with, some of you have heard of a root called Beth's root. Beth's root is also, some people might know it as Dixie John or Southern John. I did take some notes in case I forget some things, so I wrote some things down. It can come, okay, first of all, I'll show you what it looks like. And I'm going to do this the way I always do it. Let's see. Can you see that? That's Dixie John or Southern Johns. That's the pieces. Now, it's also known as Beth root. To Beth root, or Dixie John, otherwise known. First, I'm going to give you some of the names. Another name of Beth root is actually birth root. And I have Native American ancestry. So Beth root was very common with the Native Americans, and they called it Indian blossom or Indian shamrock. So that's another name you might hear it by. Now, if you get the name Beth root, you would already figure out that it's very good for female issues. So it was used back in the days to help with birthing, because a lot of times women would miscarry or they would end up not surviving a childbirth because of excessive blood loss. And this was one of the roots that would help with that. It has a property in it that helps with hemorrhage. So it slows down the bleeding. It's somewhat like shepherd's purse, which is an herb, which when we get into that, I'll discuss more about that. But it helps with slowing down the excessive bleeding with hemorrhaging. So that's one of the reasons why it was used during childbirth back in the days. It's still very good for that today. Also, excessive bleeding when you're having your menses. Some people like myself who suffer from PCOS, PCOS, if you know what that is, polycystic ovarian syndrome. You might have, or you're going up in age and you're going through those, getting ready to go into menopause, and your whole menses is going wacko, you don't know what's coming, or you have fibroids. Again, you might have excessive bleeding around that time of month. Another good one is Beth root. You can make it into a tincture. You can make it into a tea. You can even make it into a balm or like a compress. So I can explain, if anybody has questions about that, I do have recipes in my little book of shadows for different things. So there's many uses for it. It's also good for respiratory problems and colds. So it's a herb that was used mostly by women, but not just by women, but the women kind of held on to this one because you could use it for the kids, you can use it for colds, you can use it for women's needs, but it was also needed by the men. And the reason for that is because it can also be used in a man's mojo bag to help with a man's nature. If you know what that means. It's in the John family, which we're going to talk about. It's also magically, let's go into the magical aspects because I know that's what y'all want to hear. It's used to draw love. So it's edible. You can, even though this is the root form, you can grind this down into a powder. You can sprinkle this in food if you're trying to draw love, and sprinkle it like Dominia into food, or Dittany of Creek. You can sprinkle it into a food if you're trying to attract love or trying to bring someone or keep someone with you. You can also burn it as an incense. I would burn it with Love Me incense or Red Heart Passion incense. You can burn it in that. And like I said before, a lot of times men would carry, you've probably heard of Dixie John or Southern John. Men would carry it in a mojo bag and they would wear it down in their boxes, like pinned to the inside of their boxes. Supposedly it's supposed to help with their nature. So I don't know how good that is, but I've heard good things. I've also heard, and I guess I kind of know this one is true. You can also use it to put it in a bag. I don't think I have one closely. A cotton bag, like if you have a cotton mojo bag or a muslin bag, you can put it in there and wash it with your bed linen. Reason being, that's supposed to be really great for a happy night. So if you want to have a really hot night, you can use it also that way. Supposedly those bed sheets that you wash with it, that you launder with it, just put a little bit and throw it all in the washing machine. Wash those sheets together, dry the sheets, put them in your bed, and then you can throw, the root out, take it out of the muslin bag, or if you want to throw the whole muslin bag away, and you're in for the best night you ever had. So, for men who put it in the mojo bag, let's see. One of the advices would be to take some violet leaves. We'll go into that more with the herbs. That's also bringing love. That was used by Isis and a lot of the goddesses. I think even Hecate. But put that in a bag, a mojo bag, a lodestone, and some magnetic sand, lodestone feed, and put some cologne in the bag. Anoint it with cologne. Hort's cologne was used back in the days, but I would say use the favorite cologne or use your man's favorite cologne. And you can mix that. Now, here's two ways to do it. You can use that and mix that if you know someone's cheating on you. You can use that with some of your personal concerns and his personal concerns. Burn that all together. Burn it till it becomes ash, like in your cauldron, and then you can mark your bedroom, like marking your territory, like how a cat or dog would do. And that also would kind of tie situations down and bring you guys together. And then you can carry some of that ash and that mixture around in a mojo bag. Keep it out of sight because you don't want people to know what you're doing, So that's the many uses that I could think for of Dixie John or Beth Root or Seven Root. So on to our second, number 2 of the Johns. Since we're in the John family, let's go to Little John. Okay, Little John looks like this. Let's see if I can get it close. Okay, there. If you can see, it's much like a bark. I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer. It's a flat kind of bark. Little John is known for court cases. So I've had a lot of people text me or email me about court cases or having to go to court or having family members who are having some legal issues. Okay, so the rumor is this is also called chewing jar. So being, it's like a bark, but you can boil this down with some brown sugar. This is how my grandma told me. Boil this down with some brown sugar, boil this down with some brown sugar to sweeten up the situation. Then you would put it on a piece of paper, tin foil, whatever, paper plate, let it dry out a little bit, but it'll soften it so it's like chewy. Put this in your mouth. You don't want to swallow this. You don't want to swallow the juices, but you do want to get the juices going in your mouth with that brown sugar. Chew this on your way or when you're in the courtroom. And then the juices, spit on the court steps, or if you can, spit inside the courtroom. Don't let anybody see you because that could get you into big trouble. But they would do that back in the days, and it's supposedly known to help with court cases and to persuade the judge in your favor. So, if you want the case to go your way, this is the one you need. Now, another way that I know, you could also carry this with you. I would put this in a mojo bag. Again, maybe anoint this with some command and control oil and carry this with me, or rub it in my hand, or carry it in my pocket in court if we're not going to do the whole spitting the juices. Another reason when you're chewing on this and you mix it with the brown sugar, if you were going to try to make it a little softer, because it's bitter. It's really bitter when you chew it. So it doesn't taste too good. It can give you a little bit of digestive problems when you're chewing it if you swallow the juices. So you don't want to swallow this juice. You're not going to like the taste. When you mix it with boil it down with the brown sugar to make it softer, it tastes a little bit better. But it's very bitter. So you don't want to swallow this juice. You want to spit it out, either outside the courtroom, so you don't get in trouble. Outside the court building on the steps. I don't know about spitting it in the court. If you can discreetly, go for it. But again, this is known as Little John. Another name might be, you might have seen it as galangalal, Galangal. I'll put it down in the bottom. Now, the juices, like I said, they're bitter. This medicinal can help you with digestion. But it's one of like the bitters, like tonics and bitters. It cuts your digestive gases and acidics in your stomach and helps balance that. That's why it can be good for digestion, but too much can also make it bad. That's why it'll get your stomach to rumbling. That's why I would advise not to swallow the juice. So that's the Little John. We're still in the John family. We like the Johns. The Johns are good. Okay, so now everybody who knows Hoodoo and everybody who's heard of Hoodoo has heard of the Big John, the big boy on the block. The big boy on the block is, come on, you guys want to answer to this one? Mr. High John. High John the Conqueror. Now, you've heard, I probably have heard of High John the Conqueror. Let's see if I get this closer. 1,001 times. It has been referenced by a lot of the old blues singers, Muddy Waters, Bo Diddley. Of course, Bo Diddley and Muddy Waters, well, not so much Bo Diddley, but Muddy Waters and Willie Dixon, they played together. They were in the same band together. They recently, not too long ago, did that movie Cadillac Records. And if you saw that, the connection there, and you learned some history about the blues and where it came from and how it got associated with rock and roll. Very good movie. Anyway, High John. High John has been talked about and written about, and this is the all-purpose, keep all, must-have in any hoodoo arsenal. For me, I have High John. Let's see. I have High John pieces. Yeah, I have High John pieces, which is crushed up, broken up High John, much looking like the Beth root. Now, I like to keep an anointed High John in a mojo bag, but I also make, which I showed you in my last one, which this one is kind of almost finished. Let's see if I can get a good picture of that. You see that? That's a big piece of High John right there. It has a little bit of High John pieces, and this I put in some olive oil. And a big High John piece right in the middle, if you can see that. High John is call the man's root. Meaning, again, this is the Big John. Most men love to keep this in a mojo bag. That's why it was referenced by Muddy Waters. Supposedly, Southern folklore said every man needs to keep his high John root so he can keep his mojo going. So, so I think high John could work pretty much the same way for everybody, though. You just want to keep high John anointed. You want to keep this near you. It's great for gambling luck. It's great for bringing you money. It's great for good health. It gives you confidence, strength. That's why men love this. It like enforces you, gives you that machoism and the ability, or makes you feel like it's the ability to conquer anything. The history behind high John, this is one of the things I'm going to refer to in my notes. The history is high John was an African prince, and he was sold into slavery, but his spirit was never broken. It could not be broken by his slave masters. And if you've ever seen or heard of the stories, Uncle Remus's stories, folk tales for kids, I actually love it. I showed my kids that. My kids kind of grew up on the Bear Rabbit stories. Bear Rabbit was kind of taken after, made into an animated character for the children, but Bear Rabbit was supposed to be some of the adventures of High John, or High John. So he was known to outfox his slave masters, and he helped a lot of people on his plantation and a lot of slaves by doing so. And they could never break his spirit. They never broke him down. He would always find a way to outfox whatever they wanted him to do, and whatever needed to be done, he could get out of it. And so, and that's kind of exactly how Bear Rabbit was. So, if you ever want to read those stories, that's where that story comes from. But that's the story and little history about who High John actually was. Don't get it confused with John Henry, the guy working on the railroad. But if you ever heard or ever hear, that's where High John comes from. He was an African prince, and he then later became a slave. Zora Neale Hurston also wrote about him, so there is so much about High John. But this is like, you need to have this. Let me just put it that way. This is one that you need to have in your little hoodoo cabinet. You can't go wrong with High John. High John chips. That's why I have the chips. If you want some extra oomph into any spell work you're doing, burn some High John chips. So that's why I keep it in the chips. The nut is like a tubula. It's associated to the sweet potato family. So, of course, you see there again, there's the connection with its southern root. We like sweet potatoes. So, it's the tubula. And if you know from Bethroot and Little John, Dixie John, excuse me, that's the, I guess you would say, it's like the twigs or the sprouts, like I'm thinking my tomato plants. It's not coming to me now, but like the little stick twigs that come off of it, that would be more what Dixie John is, because Dixie John, not broken up, or Southern John, looks like the shoots. I guess you could say that, the shoots from it. So it's like woody stems. So, and this would be like the actual nut part of the root. That's what High John is. And again, I said it's associated in the sweet potato family. So this is one you need. I just take the whole root, drop it in oil, and let it anoint and sit and pray over it. And that's my oil. That's how I make High John oil. And for, if I'm carrying in a mojo bag, I would just anoint it and put it in a mojo bag, carry it in your hand for gambling. So that's the High John. So I think we've done our John. So I gave you the Little John. I gave you the Dixie John, or Bethroot, or Southern John. Bethroot, because Dixie John can be used for both women and men. And we had the bad boy of the bunch, Mr. High John, the Conqueror. I'm going to give you one more. I don't want this video to be crazy long, but it probably is going to be. That's why we're going to do a series. Maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll wait and save the the next one for the next video. But it is in the root family. So I think I gave you guys a whole wealth of information today. At least I hope so. Let me know if you have any roots that you really want to know, so I can make sure to put that into the next video. But I think we're going to do a part 2 and probably a part 3. So let me know what you want to hear about, and if I know anything about it, if I know what we can use it for, I will definitely let you know. And thank you again for subscribing. Please comment, subscribe, let me know you're there. Blessed be all of you. Have a great weekend.